beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America, America, may God thy gold refine, till all success be nobleness, and every gain divine. Oh, beautiful for patriot dreams that sees beyond the years. Thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, and sea to shining sea. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Memorial Weekend worship service. Let's all stand together. Old Glory are right here on the screen, and also beside the television screen. Let's say our Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. If you would, join me. Attention, salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you would, you can be seated. Danny, come and lead us in our first hymn today.
Seasons refreshing, sing from the Savior above. Showers of blessing we need. Mercy drops round us are falling, like for the showers we plead. There shall be showers of blessing, precious reviving again. Abundance of rain, showers of blessing we need. Mercy drops round us are falling, but for the showers we plead. There shall be showers blessing, all that today do night fall. Now as to God we're confessing, now as on Jesus we call. Showers of blessing we need. Mercy drops around us are falling, but for the showers we plead.
We're very grateful for Ray McNutt. He has undertaken the ministry of making sure that our church is always in touch with our patriotism and that we love our country and that we're appreciative. So Ray has arranged for our guest speaker and his wife to be with us today and their granddaughter. I'll be introducing them soon. Ray, if you would come and lead us in a word of prayer, please.
You know, folks, it's an honor to be standing on holy ground.
Amen.
We know people can sit back and see our little churches, not as big as it used to be, but you know, when you walk through those doors, you know Jesus Christ is right here with us. So I thank God for my friend that's going to be here this morning. We've been friends for so many years. Me and his wife grew up together, so you know, we've always been like family. We're brothers and sisters. We're not like strangers or just friends. So let's have a word of prayer this morning. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for watching over each one of us, Lord, during this time of crisis. Lord, just thank you for walking with us, guiding us, keeping us safe, Lord. Thank you for allowing us to be back into your house, here to be just rejoice with you, Lord. Lord, just put your loving arms around us and hold us close. We know, Lord, that all things is possible through you, and all of us are healthy. All of us are standing tall for Jesus Christ. I ask you, Lord, just to be with us this morning as we go into our service. Let us give you the honor and the praise that you deserve. In Jesus' holy name I pray. Amen.
Amen. God bless you, Ray. Ray's invited us all over to his house after dinner after church.
Come right on. I got a whole stick of bologna.
Got the barbecue and homemade biscuits. It's just going to be great. Y'all come on out. It's going to be a band. God bless you, Ray. Thank you. Well, it is good to see you all today. We're glad that you're here. Just a few things of notices. Please let us know in all of this if we're overlooking something or someone. We're still doing everything that we can to stay in touch with each other and to reach out. If you see something that we're overlooking, it's not because we're uncaring. It's because there's just so much to see right now, and there's so much and something we might overlook. I know the wards are at the ward reunion today. They told me that they would be there when I saw Terry yesterday, and so evidently homecomings are continuing. We are going to postpone our homecoming. It is generally the first Sunday in June. We're going to do it when we can have a big meal and everything like that. It seems a little bit incongruent for us to stay 6 feet apart, and then when you come to church, we say, here, put this in your mouth. It tastes good. To have a meal or a cookout, it doesn't seem like that would work too good. So, but you know, have you ever taken something out of the oven or out of the skillet or something, and it's just too hot to hold? What do you do with it? You put it in your mouth. You go, boop, 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 boop. And I don't know why. Maybe you don't do that, but that's what I do. I go, ow, 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 ow. I put it in my mouth. You don't do that?
No.
Think about it next time. All right. Now, if you're not hooked into our Kindred online giving, I can show you how to do that. I can set it up on your computer, but you've got to have a smartphone or a computer or a tablet to be able to do that. Many are contributing to our church that way. There's an offering plate right back there. We're not going to pass around an offering plate as we traditionally have, because some of you do have cooties whether you know it or not. So the offering plate is right back there. If you can make a contribution, because we're still paying the bills, still paying the salaries, still paying the preacher. We're still getting things done and helping people. We're still ministering and reaching out. As a matter of fact, if you generally take a Sunday school book, they're right back there on the second pew from the back. We're going to be studying Proverbs and Song of Solomon in this new quarter. Now, I don't know if all of you are old enough to study the Song of Solomon or not, so we'll have to see your driver's license. But get you a new Sunday school book if you don't have one already before you leave today. They're right back there on the second pew, please. And if you know of someone you're going to see, it doesn't matter whether they go to church or not, if you think they'll read it or use it or appreciate it, get one and take it to them. We'll give them away until they're all gone. We're still using the church newsletter on the website, using the church website. The church calendar is there. The prayer warrior is going out over Facebook and in the newsletter. That's our prayer guide. And we're using email. We're sending out about 50 or 60 emails every week. We're doing everything we can to say, this is what's going on, this is what we hear, this is the news, this is what we want you to know. So please, do everything that you can. If you have access to the internet through a smartphone or through your tablet or computer, you don't have to be on Facebook to look at these things. And all of our services are being, on Facebook, they're broadcast live right now. Just this very minute, we have many, many people who are watching us and listening to us and worshiping with us, and right now live. But we're going to take that and we post that on our website. So if you don't have Facebook or don't use Facebook, you can go to our website at walnutgrowebaptistchurch.net and you can see all of those things there. And it's not just to hear me preach, but to hear somebody sing, to hear someone give a testimony, to hear Ray pray prayer like he just did. So do that. All right? Now, all of these things, tell someone there are lots of people live streaming out there. So I think God is using this. I believe with all my heart, we're reaching people with our message and with our fellowship and with our joy that haven't been to church in a long time or perhaps never. People whom we would never get to come in through the church doors are enjoying this or some other service. So I thank the Lord for that. Okay, Danny, if you would come lead us in another hymn. I hope you'll sing along with us. We need your help to sing because there's only a few of us. But if you're at home, you sing along too. And we're so glad that you're tuned in and that you're praying for us and you're viewing. And thank you very much. When you send, hey, I'm watching, we know that Donna Serta watches every Sunday. Henry and Linda are there at home. The Sanders watch when they can't be here. JL and Ann. We know that Terry and I have an aunt lives down in Gulf Shores at Tulo and is watching, and she watches every Sunday. And there are many of our old friends, many of our members who are there that can't be here, who are watching with us, and we're just grateful for that. You help others tune in, and we're glad to have you along. Dan, you come and share. There's some more. Okay, be quiet over here. I didn't know if you would. We did a little kind of a lamb service last week for a little bit older children. Kale, evidently you're not a child anymore. You're a full-grown bull in a china shop man. Good looking guy too.
Yes, he is.
But this morning I have something, maybe it'll mean something, I don't know. Do you know what this is? Look right, Bailey, do you know what that is? This is my high school yearbook from 1974. Did you order a yearbook for you this year?
I'm on the yearbook staff. So
You're on the yearbook staff, so do you get one free?
no.
You'd have to still have to buy it. They're very expensive, aren't they?
Yes.
But your mom and dad are loaded. They're rich. They are rich.
That just shows how old you are, Brother John. That just shows how old you are.
Yes, I graduated in 1974, which is, we had our 40th anniversary back in 2014.
Yeah.
And there's not, all of us are not left yet, but this is 1974. It's called the Morgan County Irish. It's Hartselle High School now. Have you ordered have y'all's annuals come in yet, or is that something that were you able to finish because of the virus, or?
They come in August.
All right. Well, this is mine. Carter, up there on the keyboard there's a thing called, I have a video. No, not that one, the other one. It's a video, 1974 annual. There we go. Now, I made a video of my annual so I could share it with my classmates. And we were still for the Morgan County Tigers back then. But all of these, it has an annual or a yearbook. People sign it. Now, I didn't have many people sign mine. I was so grateful. I'm probably better friends now with my high school mates than I was back then. I didn't know how to make friends very well back then. I guess I had lots of friends compared to many, but I didn't have as many friends as others. I just didn't know how to make friends. I was clumsy and awkward, and so nobody signed my annual. There are some signatures later on in here, and here are the senior portraits and so forth. But you're making memories right now, and there are things that you look back on and remember. And today, Memorial Weekend is about remembering things that are important. And this has some important people in it. It reminds me of a very important time. But also for me, as I said, it reminds me of the fact that I wish I had been a better friend, or I had learned how to make friends or how to be friendlier. My class elected me to be the vice president of our senior class that year, and I was just astounded. I was bewildered. I didn't know, but they loved me and appreciated me, and I was an oddball, I know, but they were very kind, and I wish I'd known then how to appreciate that a little bit better. And I feel that way about family and friends of the past. I feel like I know right now more about how to love people, how to care for people, and how to be a good friend, and how to introduce myself to people. And that's been important because I like to introduce people to Jesus. You see some of those things, there's some of those scenes. Go ahead and close that out there, Carter. If you want to look through my high school annual, I know that you're all excited about doing that. You're welcome to do that. And one of my hobbies is that I scan many of our high school annuals and make it available for people who've lost theirs or can't find theirs. Yeah, bring that one up right. Have you ever heard of a six-pack? Do you know what a six-pack is? That's when you get arrested and they say, I want you to pick out the criminal. And this is an 8-pack right here. Let me just look right over here and see if you know any of these people. Now, up in the upper left-hand corner, do you know who? And I only have access to a few. I don't have all of your senior. I looked on Chandra. I said, oh, Chandra put a high school senior party, but she didn't. She's smart. Who's up in the left-hand corner?
Mary.
Yeah, that's Terry. Now, I didn't know, Liz, is that your high school, or it's near then? I mean, you were about 18 when that picture was taken.
That's correct.
I couldn't find her graduation picture. Now, you may not know who that third person is. Do you know?
I do.
Do you know who that is?
That's my mother.
That's Terry's mother. And Terry and our daughter look a lot like her. She's a beautiful woman. She is today. But that's Beth Owen. That is her high school graduation photo. Now, in there in Danville colors is our daughter. And she graduated a lot more times until we finally just ran out of money. And we said, you cannot go to school anymore. If you do, you're going to have to marry somebody rich, like in the Buell family, to sponsor your education. Are you still paying for student loans? No, you're not? Well, congratulations. That's our daughter. And that was the very first graduation that she had there at Daniel. That was in 2002, wasn't it? All right, who's that? I couldn't find it. Did you do one at a tux or just this one?
Just that.
I thought so. That's Big Brother. Looking there. Who's that in the lower left? Yeah, that's Andy. Good-looking guy there. He's thinking, I think I'm going to join the army. Is what he's thinking. Is what's going through. That's me. That's me right next to Andy. Do you know who that beautiful young girl is there on to the right of me? Now you're going to say it? That's Linda Crow. That's Linda Crow, it is. And I'm not sure if that's her graduation picture, but that's one I stole from their wedding anniversary celebration. All right, with all these people, do you know who that person is second from the end right there?
Henry.
Nope. Anybody? That's Clyde Barrow. And right next to him in the right-hand corner is Bonnie Parker. So this kind of rounds out the whole bunch. And yeah, you know, so you just look up there. If the police ever show you this, they say, "Who did it?" You'll say, "That's a mean bunch of looking bunch of people right there. I guarantee you." Yeah, so there they are. You have to explain to the kids down who Bonnie and Clyde are. So there they are, and that's a mixed bag. I'll tell you what. I wish I had pictures of you. I'd make you pay money to me not to put them up on Facebook. All right? I enjoy pictures. I've just met Howard. I'm going to be introducing him. He's got some wonderful pictures. I've robbed your website too, your Facebook page, Howard, and as a trick. So, but you know, Ned and Betsy, they'll go out and they'll see the Grand Canyon, and they'll see these great old cars and see these wonderful places, and won't take one picture. I said, what is wrong with you? What is the whole point? He just enjoys soaking it up and looking at it. Take a picture so I can enjoy it too, Ned. Good. And every time they're going to leave somewhere, I said, Ned, take some pictures. Don't just stand there and look at it. I remember there was a sign from Animal House Vacation. Remember when they got to the Grand Canyon? All the family got up there and they stood at the Grand Canyon. Okay. Then they turned around and got back in the car and drove off. So, you know, take a picture. Take a picture. All right, let me get back on track here. So, I'm so grateful. We have so many wonderful memories. And to have a Memorial Weekend and a time to think of our great nation and this country, the freedoms we have, the great privileges we have, the great people who have built this nation. Oh, it's just wonderful. I love memories, and you will find, I guess, the older you get, the more precious your memories are. All right, now I want Chandra and Baylee, would y'all come right up here? Let's make another memory up here. If y'all would come right up here. There's that PowerPoint presentation, Carter, on the desktop there that's got some pictures of Baylee. Y'all come right up here on the platform. Baylee, congratulations. Yes. If anybody knows how to go, woo, do that. I'm sorry Dad couldn't be here, but Brother is up there and he's already graduated. Been graduated, and we're so proud of her. We're glad. I know that this has been unusual circumstances. You had a wonderful, thank you for inviting us to the reception last Sunday. We enjoyed that. And did you get some money? Give her more money. She needs more money. Are y'all doing a class trip? Are you going on a class trip? Or thinking about, all right, well, everything is wide open. The church, this Bible is about as big as you are. So we'd like to present this Bible to you, and it's been signed. Miss Terry Ward put today's date in there. We're so happy for you. We want to give that to you. And it's an NIV study Bible. And the reason it's a large print edition, which I just think it's not only for old people, but young people enjoy being able to see print too. And it's got lots of nice study helps there. So we're so proud of you and your family. And Chandra, is there anything that you would share right now about anything that's going on this year or will go on or is happening, or anything about your daughter that...
Well, it's just been an unusual year. I hate that she had to miss the last couple months of her senior year. But we discussed, right before she was born was 9/11. So she kind of came into the world in an uncertain world, and so that's just part of life. We just know that God has a hold of us, and He's got a reason, and everything's going to be okay.
If you will, let me pray a prayer blessing over you, Baylee. Father, thank you for Baylee Dotson and her family and her friends and those who love her. I know that her grandparents are watching, and they've been watching over her and will continue to do so all their lives. Thank you for this achievement, this accomplishment in her life. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of watching her grow up and to be able to see her live her life and continue under your grace. We thank you for everybody who reaches up and reaches out and learns and grows and understands and is always willing, Father, to tackle difficult things and to accomplish long-term goals, to succeed and to prevail to your glory. Thank you. We ask you to bless her, watch over her, and lead her. We ask this, Lord Jesus, in your name. Amen. God bless you both. Thank you. Thank you for letting us share in this. One of our premier ministries here at Walnut Grove is our Christmas Box Ministry. So I'm grateful that there are many who work in that, and nearly everybody contributes to it. But Andy Crow is kind of like our linchpin. So Andy, come and tell us a little bit about our mission this year, okay?
Well, with the virus, it's kind of put us a little behind. We do have a couple of items that we've already taken care of. I've made lists. They're laying out there on the table out in the back. If you'll pick up one, items that we are short are in red. There's some items that fit better in the boxes, like that brush comb set, that soap for the older kids. I'll put these back here on the table as well. But if we can try to buy those items, ivory soap, because we don't know if the others will make them break out or whatever. This one is more pure, it won't cause an allergy. So kind of those things. But we can do this and get back on track and get our 200 boxes. I've got to contact Bucket and get our actual boxes here now. The virus is over. Normally I already have them here, but with everything going on, we did not get that opportunity to get them here yet, but we will get them here.
Good deal. Thank you, Andy.
His glory's now unseen, who died and rose and reigned, and died eternal life to bring, and lives that death may die.
Carter, if you would bring up that 8-pack again. Now, there was one more slide on there that I forgot to ask you to progress to, and I thought about using it as an extra. Bring up and click it one more time, and there's Andy in his uniform. He is one of our veterans. Ray McNutt served in our armed forces. J.L. Sanders also served. James Ward. Is there anyone else among our membership or among our families, that's in your family, someone who is now presently serving or served in the past? Especially anyone who may have given their life in service to our country.
My brother served, and then my nephew, his son, is currently serving in Hawaii.
All right.
And our brother served.
Okay.
Alan's dad, served. He was in Germany when Alan was born.
All right. I didn't know that. I didn't remember that. Maybe I didn't know it, didn't remember it.
I have 4 uncles that served.
My uncle Howard served in Korea.
My stepdad he served.
All right. Stepdad. All right.
I've got 2 uncles that served. My uncle Arthur Terry Jr., he served in Korea. And my uncle D. Terry, he served in World War II. And my brother-in-law, Willie Motley, he served in Vietnam.
All right. Okay. I just met our guest. I wish that I could tell you more about him. But as I said, I did pirate his Facebook page. There's he in his dress uniform. And if you're on Facebook, I'm sure Howard would be glad to have you as a friend. I'm glad to have he and his wife here with us today. And they share with us pictures of his past. And he still does a great deal to stay in touch with other veterans, for those with whom he served. And he is called upon quite often throughout the year to raise a flag, to make a speech, to give a testimony. It's so very important for us to stay in touch with these memories. Howard, we're glad to have you here with us today. Danny's going to come and sing in just a moment. And after he comes, you just come and share with us whatever is on your heart. Tell us whatever you wish to tell us. We appreciate you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for you and your wife and your granddaughter for being here today. And we're so appreciative of all that you and all of our great men and women have done, because freedom is not free. It is not free. All right. Danny, you come and sing, and then Howard, you come and share with us.
We do want to remember our veterans, remember those who served and those particularly who gave their lives. And it's always a very special time. Our immediate family never, like I said, our uncle was the closest to military. I was in the Cub Scouts for a very short time. That don't really count. But we do appreciate all the sacrifices made. Carter.
Stormy night, the battle is raging in ruthless fight. Soldiers giving their life for life, defending defenders of freedom and right. Bravely they watch as the blazing skies give proof through the first gleam of morning bright. For yonder still waving their symbol of right, bold glory, the stars and the stripes. Old glory still stands for country free. Its beauty held high for the world to see. To freedom and justice and liberty. It's the stars and the stripes forever. From the halls of Pilate, they loudly cried, we find him guilty, crucified, crucified. They mocked him, they crowned him, they pierced his precious side. Love carries what should have been mine. The sun was darkened, and heaven cries, the nails have been driven, our Savior has died, and Jesus has given his life for our life. We are free by his stars and his stripes. All glory and praise, I have been set free by the blood of the Lamb there on Calvary. There's mercy and freedom and victory in the scars and the stripes forever. Oh, there's mercy and freedom and victory in the scars and the stripes God bless you.
Good morning, church. Brother Bain.
Good morning.
My friend Ray McNutt. When they asked me if I would come and speak after being married into the Murphy family for 40-something years and all those girls talking like they did and I never get a chance to say anything, I jumped on that opportunity to come speak to you guys this morning. Really, just joking on that. She'll probably kill me when we get home, but it is a privilege, it's an honor to be asked to stand up for all of our veterans, as I have for many years. I served my country in 3 different branches. I was in the Air Force, in the Marine Corps, and I was in the Army National Guard. I've had 3 combat tours under my belt, and my latest being in '04 at 57 years old with the Army in Iraq, Operation Iraqi Freedom. I've had a very, I don't know if you would want to call it an exciting life, but I've had a very fulfilled life of adventure in different places of our country and all over the world. But, and the types of work that I've done, when I was in the Air Force, I was in aircraft weapons, loading bombs and guns on B-57s and B-52s. I'm sure if you're of the Vietnam era age, you will remember those big bombers that they had. I got a funny thing to tell you first before I really get into what Memorial Day means to me and how Memorial Day originated. I'd like to tell you about some 20 years ago, 25, Fallville was having a Veterans Day program, and they had invited me down. My 2 nephews were, I guess, 2nd and 3rd grade, and what had happened is the teachers had asked all of those young kids at that age to write an essay on what is a veteran. Well, you know, they set us veterans right out in front. I guess we were as close as the first pew there, and folding chairs out, and they had the microphone for the kids set up, well, 10, 15 feet from us. It was 20, 30, 40 of us old veterans sitting out there, or I wasn't that old at that time, but I guess the kids thought we were. But anyway, the first little boy came up, his paper was just a shaking like this, kind of like I am right now. But he got up to the microphone and he froze up. He was sitting there and his lips started trembling and tears running out of his eyes. The teacher picked up on it, so she walked up to him and bent down and whispered to him. And he nodded his head, but she took him back, and then she said, "Is there anyone that would like to volunteer to be first?" Well, this little girl, man, her hand was up. She was all full of enthusiasm, and the teacher picked her. She walks up to the microphone, and she looks out there at all of us, and she says, "My story is, what is a veteran? A veteran is an old man." So, you know, for all of you that have veterans or have been a veteran or whatever, we want to thank the veterans for their service. But this weekend is not about the veterans that came home. This weekend is about those that gave it all, those that did not make it home, those that stood with us and did not get home. But anyway, Memorial Day falls on the last Monday of May. Americans all over the country honor fallen service members with parades, barbecues, and commemorative services. Though Memorial Day was made an official federal holiday in 1971, its roots traces all the way back to the Civil War, where Northerners and Southerners alike were looking for a way to publicly mourn their fallen. Most observances were concentrated in the South, where the most Civil War graves were located. We in the South always call this day Decoration Day. I grew up in the 50s and 60s, and Decoration Day took place on a Sunday up through May before Memorial Day, and it was held at most churches. And it became not just the veterans' graves that got decorated, but they were decorating all graves. But Memorial Day weekend became a 3-day holiday weekend to honor those that gave it all. And we need to always remember that, and we always need to set aside some special time for honoring our veterans. Go ahead and have your barbecues, go on to the river, to the beach, whatever. Enjoy this weekend they gave us, but don't forget them. Don't let them just lay there forgotten, okay? That's pretty much what Veterans Day means to me. On a national level, Decoration Day was expanded to honor all fallen U.S. service members after the end of World War I. And in 1971, it became a federal holiday with the official national moment of remembrance. At 3 p.m. local time, every American is encouraged to pause in silence for a moment to reflect on the sacrifice of the service members who gave their lives for this country. We encourage you to reflect on those who gave their lives in the defense of our country. You should, you know. But along with Veterans Day, World War I, there was a place called Flounders Field in France. It was a major World War I battle. And after the war and after all of the explosions and stuff, they said from all of the shells and whatever, the lime and everything was so rich in the soil that these poppies just popped up everywhere growing. And that's when they decided to take the poppy and to use the poppy also for remembrance of Memorial Day. And it's always usually the Friday. They get out, the American Legion took this poppy and made it an official thing for them to help raise money for the needs of veterans and for veterans programs and stuff like that. And they're usually out on Fridays before Memorial Day selling these poppies for those donations to help support those programs. And now I'd like to elaborate a little bit on my war, our major war that my age group endured, went through, and maybe tell you a little bit about the effects of Vietnam on us. And that time of our country, it was a kind of an unrest. People were protesting. There was changes coming in our political scene. There was new laws being made, and the hippie movement, the college kids were very much against it. And we, 18, 19, 20-year-old guys, we had to, if our country called us, we had to go do it. And I think most of us we were proud to serve our country, but we faced a lot of stuff. It was a new enemy. It was a new type of war. It was a jungle warfare type that we weren't used to. So we had a lot of learning to do when we hit the ground there. And a lot of our guys went through a lot and constant little battles. I think they say that the Vietnam vet faced more combat battles than our World War II veterans did. Even though World War II was big, they might spend 30 or 40 days getting from point 1 to point 2 to have their next battle. Our guys, when they were out in the field, it was a battle about every day. And these movies that glorify combat, you just can't glorify combat. It's not pretty. It's very ugly. And there's some facts about Vietnam that a lot of people, it's out there, but they probably don't know. But there were over 58,000 names on the wall. Over 39,000 were younger than 22. 8,283 were 19. And 33,000 were 18. We had 12 17-year-olds killed. We had 5 16-year-olds that were killed, and their names are on the wall. And 1,448 was killed on the first day in Vietnam. 8 on that wall female nurses that was there to help take care of the wounded and everything. I could stand here and tell you many different incidences of guys and things that happened. I've got one here that I'm going to share with you. This was a personal experience for me. It's hung over me for a long time, and a lot of people, when you look at these veterans sitting around in the restaurants, walking down the streets, you see them with these hats on, you see just an older guy walking, you know. You can't see what's inside, and you can't see what he's feeling. But I'm going to try to paint a little picture with this story if I can hold it together. I titled this Unseen Scars. From out of the jungles, through the base camps, across the fields, and out of the rice paddies, and up the hills they came. Battle worn they were as they tried to put the sounds of mortars and rockets, the gunfire, and the whirling of the Hueys behind them. They could still hear the chaos of the medics calling for the medevacs and the sergeants yell out instructions that there was that awful smell of sulfur from all the gunfire and explosions. Returning home for these guys wasn't easy either, as they came home to a thankless, ungrateful nation only to be spat upon, egged, and called horrific names such as baby killer. In fact, many would change their uniforms for civilian clothes, trying to blend into the crowds in order to get home without protest. They tried to hide the fact that they were veterans in those early days as they stashed their memorabilia and memories away in a safe place and attempted to return to a normal life. This is what it was like for them for years and years after coming back. And the war seems to build a bond between men that served in combat together, which lasts a lifetime. It did not matter what branch service you was in or what job you had. There was a brotherhood, and the men that served together came to know one another in a deeper way than anyone else. These men entrusted with one another their deepest and most humble being, and were not ashamed to express their fears of dying. War is not pretty, and the effects of it will stay with a combat veteran for a lifetime. Can I have a drink of water? I'm sorry. I'm so dry. But it affects everyone in different ways, and some memories are about as fresh today as it was the day they happened to them. For me, that day was a horrific incident on September the 26th, 1969 at 0100 hours in the morning. It is a time embedded and ingrained in my mind to this day, along with the name Michael D. Gunnels. I had not known him or his name before that night, but it is a name that has been forever carved into the deepest recesses of my mind. That night, like many others, we received orders for a turnaround mission, which meant that we had a plane that was coming back in off of a mission, and we had 1 hour to get him back in the air for the next mission. And this was pretty much an impossible task to accomplish, following every step that they required by the checklist that we were supposed to go by to be safe. And the plane had to be fueled. It had to have the bombs reloaded and fused, ammo loaded for the guns, not to mention checking and correcting any problems that may have occurred on the previous mission. And this particular plane that came in that night had a problem with one of the guns, and it had a problem with its radio. The radio man was called to come out to repair the gun, and that was Michael B. Jones. I was the sergeant in charge. I was the one that took it up on myself to get up on the wing, make sure the guns were safe. They were electrically fired guns, so they were all disconnected. The cannon plug was laying across the body of each gun, but they were disconnected. I broke the outboard gun down, the one I was going to work on. Got it set up with an electric meter to check the voltage to see what was going on with this gun. And I got the bomb crew guys to set up the switches in the cockpit for me to squeeze the trigger so I could get that electrical reading. Well, when he squeezed the trigger, Michael was walking up in front of the gun to check the records to see what was wrong with the radio, and that gun fired 3 20-millimeter rounds. It caught Michael in the shoulder. Anyway, I heard the 3 rounds. I was right there. They just deafened me. I couldn't really hear real good, but I heard screams and I heard hollers. I raised up and I looked, and I saw Michael laying down beside the cockpit in front of the gun ports, and there was people on each side of him. So I couldn't jump down. It was crowded there, so I jumped across the fuselage, going to get off on the other side of the wing. Somebody reached up and grabbed me, and they carried me and put me in our bomber truck and carried me back to the shop. Gave me a cup of coffee, and it was chaotic. It was chaotic all around the plane. It was chaos there when we were trying to load out anyway, but everything just went haywire. And somebody got in my face and told me, said, "Don't tell them you've been working 12-hour shifts." I don't know why. That was pretty much standard for us in Vietnam. But anyway, it wasn't a short time. 2 officers come and carried me to headquarters building, put me in a room with a tape recorder, turned it on and put a microphone there, and they started asking me all kind of questions, you know. And it seemed like forever, but anyway, it was about daylight when they let me go, and they told me then that Michael was dead. You know, he died from the gunshot wound. And so they brought charges against me for negligent homicide and dereliction of duty, and gave me some little young military lawyer, to defend me. And I beat the homicide case, or I was not found guilty of the homicide case, because they went back and proved that there was a short in the wire touching the body, the metal part of that gun, and then there was a hairline crack in the firing pin that caused this gun to fire arc that fired, that hit him and killed him. Anyway, that's been there for a long time. The court-martial lasted almost a week, and I was found guilty of dereliction of duty, but not guilty of negligent homicide. Of course, at that time, I myself sentenced me to a guilty verdict for life. Like most war veterans, I came home and tried to forget, but forget I couldn't. The internal scars are deep for some of us, and the guilt we bear may not be seen, but it haunts us and makes remembering hell sometimes. There have been instances where watching television or hearing a particular sound that sent a tear creeping down my eye, down the corner, and even in the stillness of the night, I can still hear the screams over 50 years later. We was having a reunion in 2002, a bomber reunion, the guys that I was with during this time and with this plane. And I decided to go to the wall, my first trip to the wall. And a good dear friend of mine that I'd been through a lot of other stuff and pulled him out of a really hot situation one night, went with me. When I walked up to that wall and laid my hand on that wall, it was like he reached out that black granite and got my heart. And I had to go. I had to go find his people. He was an Andalusia boy from Andalusia, Alabama. So my wife and I made a trip to Andalusia. We went to the courthouse, got with the sheriff, tried to locate this guy. I never could find any of his relatives, except one uncle called later, or got in touch later. He was a doctor somewhere, but he wasn't living down in Andalusia anymore. And I never did find his gravesite, but I did find a monument to him there in Andalusia. But you know, I couldn't find it, but I do know that as long as I live, Michael will never be forgotten. I will always remember, even though I didn't know him personally before that night. It has stayed with me. And I've adjusted, I've handled it, I've made a good life. A lot, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of these Vietnam vets, if you know, Ray McNutt, if you're watching, he comes in this room, he'll hardly ever let anybody behind his back. We have that fear. There's a fear of putting somebody behind your back, and also every Vietnam vet that I know will burn a light somewhere that they can see from their bedroom because they have a childlike fear of the dark. Simply by the fact most of our attacks came in the darkness of night. I want to thank you guys for putting up with me. I hope that I've said something that maybe make you look at these vets that come back different. Even though this weekend is not really about us vets, we need to understand our vets that walk among us. You don't always know who a veteran is. Most of them now, and it took us 20 years, 30 years being home before they'd even put on that veteran hat. There was a stigma about that war. There was a stigma that we had to face when we came home. You know, we weren't really welcome. And really and truly, you could not have a parade every time a Vietnam vet come home because we trickled in and we trickled back. It was not like World War II or I when the whole units went over and stayed for the duration and then came home. We didn't do that. We came home scattered for 10, 12 years, from 64 to 75. So, you know, we carry a lot of baggage, and I think most of us have handled it pretty good. You do see some homeless vets. You do see some that has drug and alcohol problems, but there are some that's in our political arena, and there are some that are lawyers, some that's even made doctors. So, you know, we can adjust. I think with God's help, we can accomplish anything. And it is great to be an American. It's great to come from this country. And it's always great to be able to walk into a church like this and worship freely. And we need to always protect that. Thank you guys very much for putting up with me.
God bless you. Danny, would you come and lead us in our invitational hymn? And as you know, yes, sir, this is not a come forward or a walk the aisle or a come to the altar kind of invitation. But one thing that Howard has shared with us today, I have the greatest respect for him he did everything that he could to deal with an incident in his past. And we all will not always have opportunities to do that, and sometimes the opportunities will be very limited. There are things in our past we can't change or undo. There's certainly things that we can't forget, and that's why we need the Lord. We need the Lord to help us deal with those things. And it's very, very important to understand that, as Howard said, I saw a drawing today. It was someone that they were at a barbecue and there were flags and there was a band, food and music. And this little girl was asking a man standing at the barbecue, and he said, "How much did all this cost? How much did all this cost?" It's very expensive. Very expensive. Our liberties, our freedom, our country. You will find most people that I have met that have come back from war. People have come back. And I'm sure the people who didn't come back, if they could speak, they probably wouldn't want to talk very much about their exploits, their adventures, or their great memories. Very humble about it. Danny, lead us as we sing. If there's something that you're dealing with, something that you're working with, something, maybe you need God's help. Because I do. I know that I do, to deal with wrong paths that I've taken, mistakes that I've made, and even the things that I did that I know were right. The things that I know that were good and true in my life, and yet they were difficult. Let's sing together.
I hear thy welcome voice that calls me on to thee, for cleansing in thy precious blood that flowed on Calvary. I am coming, Lord, coming now to thee. Wash me, cleanse me in the blood that flowed on Calvary. Oh, coming weak and blind, thou my strength is sure. Thou dost my body is fully cleansed till spotless and pure. I am coming, Lord, coming now to thee. Wash me, cleanse me in the blood that flowed on Calvary. 'Tis Jesus calls me on to perfect faith and love, to perfect hope and peace and trust for earth and heaven above. I am coming, Lord, coming now to thee. Wash me, cleanse me in the blood that flowed on Calvary.
Is there anything that we've overlooked today, or anything that you would like to say, or anything that is on your heart or mind? Any testimony or memorial? Howard mentioned going to the Vietnam War Memorial Wall. It's one of the most moving, awe-inspiring places that I've ever stood. I guess probably only one other place has touched me more deeply, and that's to stand at Arlington and to see those thousands of rows of grave markers there at Arlington Cemetery. And there at Arlington, to go to the tomb of the unknown soldier and watch the changing of the guard. If you've not been to these places, I encourage you to go. There's a lot, I guess, about Washington that I don't care much about, but it is a wonderful place of our history and heritage. And it is filled with memories and monuments to our great nation. Do you have anything else today? Danny Ward is going to be bringing our morning message next Sunday. Terry and I and our family have an opportunity to get away farther than 6 feet. So we're going to do that. And please, as you fellowship, kind of observe everybody's distance. Keep your distance from each other. Blow a kiss, wave a hand, whatever you need to do. God bless you. I hope God will bless you this week, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Keep Baylee in your prayers. She's probably got more pomp and circumstance to do. And if you haven't given her any money, give her some money. All right, Howard, thank you so much. Ray, thank you for inviting Howard to come here to share with us. Thank you, Miss Taylor, for coming, and other Miss Taylor, or whatever you are. Their first granddaughter, and she's so rotten, I can just smell it from here. I guess they do everything she asks them to do, and they do whatever she wants. She's here today because she loves them, and she's so proud of them. So what a wonderful thing to have someone to love you and respect you and care for you, to be in support of what you do in your life. All right. God bless you all. Have a good week.